where the $145,000 is going to be spent, and is this going to be spent in a logical fashion that gets us as a city somewhere, so that we have something to show for the $645,000 that we will have spent.
What I'd like, in short, what I could say is, when we say it's long gone and spent, but we still have it, and it exists in a piece of equipment, physical piece of equipment. The money exists in that, but it also exists in much of this is in the IP that the company has developed. So there's very sophisticated software and computer systems that are running all of this. And so the great thing about it is that this $145,000 loan that we're requesting is a Ferris wheel that we will put into a chamber that has $2 million worth of research and design and physical equipment in. So it is our opportunity to take advantage of the technology, the equipment, and the original $500,000 loan, so that we can move into production and then begin to service the loans that we do have.
When you borrowed the $500,000, did you think you was going to come back and need more money?
At the time, I was not president of Hypersonic, but I would assume that, I don't know what the answer would have been. What I can say, though, is this, is the company, and what we had worked with the EDA is, what were the stumbling blocks? And one of the major stumbling blocks that we ran into is the patent that we use is from the University of Minnesota. And the technology didn't work quite like it was specified in the patent. And so over a year of time and money was spent, to some estimate about $1 million, to overcome the barriers that was left in that patent. So that was part of the delay. If the patent had performed as expected, there wouldn't be another request.
You have to pay the U of M any money for?
Yes, we pay the U of M a royalty.
And is that more or less than the 2% you're willing to give the city?
I don't think I'm allowed to. It's an agreement that was entered into by. I don't want to be elusive, and I want to be as frank with you as possible. The U of M doesn't allow us to say what that is.
And our royalty is a per piece royalty, 3 cents on a drill bit. It's not a percentage of the 2% is a lien against shares of their company to secure this loan.
Do you think the $145,000 is the last money you're going to need from the city?
This puts us into production and allows us to begin. In 90 days, we'll be having product going out the door.
10,000 drill bits a month. Let's say you work up to production capacity. What kind of a return is that going to give? Is there going to be profits?
Yes. At this amount, we'll be profiting around $40,000 a month.
If I could respond to your question about the logical use of city money and for I guess what the logical was referring to their production project. There were 4 of us most times on the subcommittee. Brad, myself, I don't think Vern was involved. Chris was involved. Steve was always there. Joyce was there. Terry was there. And to the best of our ability, and we tore this to pieces. We spent 2 hours one day just talking about day 1 to day 90, the sequencing of events that leads up to the production. We had looked at their finances. A lot of that is confidential. We went through their finances. We looked at their distribution, production, marketing of these bits, asked every question we could think of, and I'm sure there's probably some questions we didn't think of, but we sure tried to approach this, given the history of this company and the city and the loan. We tried to ensure that the best interests of the city were being protected, while at the same time we could try to find a way out of the situation we're in right now, which is sort of non-perform, well, it's clearly, it's just in forbearance, it's non-performing loan. We have a space building situation that is dire. We've tried to address all of those questions as best we could by leveraging this loan against the wishes of the city to succeed, to get functioning repayment, and then to to grow and build and bring jobs here.
Go ahead, Sal.
If given this money, when will this be in production?
In 60 days, we will begin producing our initial drill bits. Those really won't be for sale. We want to use the following 30 days to begin to fine-tune the equipment in the coating, so that by the 90th day, every drill bit we produce performs at a minimum standard, minimum qualification. So 90 days.
Does the EDA know who the owners of this company are?
We asked, and I think received satisfactory response about the primary ownership and the investors in the company. There's the actual financial sheets, the balance sheets, the profit and loss, the sheets that show the investments and the debts they're complex. I will say this on behalf of Hypersonic, it's not that they took the initial loan, frittered away the money, and haven't been heard from for 5 years. They have been working. They have had considerable infusions of cash from Irwin, Fastenal, grants from the National Institute of Health, Mayo Clinic. All of this sort of keeping the business afloat. The one thing that attracted me personally to this proposal was it wasn't an R&D proposal. It was a production proposal to put a product on a shelf and generate revenues that will in turn help them to pay us back and to begin to become solvent.
I would say if the numbers that he says is true, this is a deal that should be followed through on. But what guarantee? The reason I asked, do you know who the owners of this company are? And my next step was to ask, have they personally guaranteed this?
Well,
are they committed?
The principal ownership belongs to secondary subordinated shares of the company. So we have asked for, there's different names for it, but preferred stock, the primary stock. Though that is held by others, we have the names of the individuals who are going to offer their stock to make up this 2% security.
Assuming this all works and everything is well and good, do you have a plan in case it doesn't work? Who's going to own this stuff? Who's going to get the key to the office that it's in? Do you have a plan in case it fails?
Well, what we have is this agreement does not exist yet, but we have the previous loan agreement. The security on that loan is equipment. There is no owned property. They're renting and leasing a space. So if everything were to just go up in smoke, no pun intended, equipment would be put out in the parking lot with a forklift, and the city would exercise its option, I suppose, to seize and try to evaluate the worth of the previous collateral, which is basically equipment. And because of that, that's why we went to shares of stock. If this agreement is approved, and for some unfortunate reason things don't work out, we'll be at least at the front of the line. Probably won't be collecting 100% value as it's evaluated today, but we'll be at the front of the line to collect